This Bike Sport News special is all about Milwaukee Yamaha's Josh Brookes. Once labelled as the bad boy of the British Superbike Championship, he is now a fan favourite. And we caught up with him at Silverstone to get his views on this season.
By reading all that was on paper about the new bike and then experiencing it in testing, I immediately thought the championship is a real possibility. But to reflect more on the point you make about Snetterton, it was certainly a point where what I thought about the bike actually turned into reality, because a couple of things come into place there. We'd made some changes with the suspension, which coincided with the new fuel tank, and also a slight upgrade in the engine delivery performance, and that was the start of a good work in progress. When I got to Brands was kind of, I would say, the bigger turning point, because Brands Hatch mid-season was another engine stage had arrived, which initially the problem with the engine was that the low down with really low RPM, the torque wasn't strong enough, and then the mid-range was really strong, and then it sort of tailed off at the top too quickly. Where by Brands we had a really strong torque feeling from the engine down low, so I could ride even a gear higher in some areas on the track and it would still pull from a low RPM. And then the mid-range wasn't so violent that it would wheelie so much, because that power had sort of been pushed more towards the top, and so right high in the RPM it would still pull, where earlier it was dropping off. So that was a step. And then the tank had sort of come through a couple of stages of development. Initially, the first tank was on at Snetterton test, which you mentioned, but there was a couple more improvements we made after that, and that came into play at Brands as well. And then with the ride-by-wire throttle, we'd tried some new ideas with engine braking strategy, and those three items put together really cemented what we were able to do, because I could now start to enter the corners with real confidence and bring the entry speed right into the middle and the apex of the turn, and then with the more central mass from the fuel tank and the comfortable ride position, I was able to comfortably get through the apex of the turn without the bike being unsettled. And then finally with the power delivery in a more rider-friendly style, I was able to accelerate off the turns without wheel standing too much and giving any advantage away to my competition. And those three areas combined, sort of set things in place. I think I was probably riding more on the edge and harder and with more risk in previous seasons. I haven't got more confidence to do more outrageous things with the bike. It just means that I can ride and the things that I do with the bike create a result. Sometimes you can achieve more by doing less, so to speak. Because the bike's actually doing what I want it to do, I don't have to risk so much, because when I'm braking, the efficiency of the bike is slowing down and stopping in that braking zone where I need it to, rather than kind of just trying to get into that braking zone and then skidding through the other side of it, and then trying to get the bike back to an apex by leaning it over too far where the tyres are actually off their usable riding area. I'm actually able to slow down in my desired braking zone, pull the bike up and steer it to an apex, and then focus on trying to accelerate away efficiently. And I'm actually taking less risk to achieve more. And it's down to the bike achieving what I'm expecting from it.